So this is our setup.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, shit. That's dope.
Fiercely pursuing accountability on policy and implementation. It's time for another DJ Elf 7 candidate interview.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy DJL7. As you know, I'm actually interviewing candidates from all around the nation. Now I actually have a candidate that I'm pretty excited about. I'm actually quite excited about her, but I'll let her introduce herself. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. My name is Barbara Gaskins. I am in North Carolina. I'm currently the candidate or one of the candidates for United States Congress, North Carolina Congressional District 3.
Hey, that's awesome. So, can you tell me a little bit about your relevant experience for this role?
Sure. Well, I would say overall experience, I am a community advocate. I am a community organizer. Um, I have a bachelor's degree in behavioral science, a master's degree in criminal justice, a host of several certifications. I think overall, my experience is that I am a concerned citizen. And, it's really just time for people, real people, people who embody what it means to be an American. It's time for us to stand up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, all right. So, there's a lot of different things that people, and I'm very glad that you're actually a community activist. I am too, and I think that's really sorely missing in these campaigns. A lot of people come in with executive experience, blah blah blah. They've never really experienced. They say they're going to fix welfare. They've never been on welfare. They have no idea, right? Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
yeah. They have no idea. They only know what the managers tell them, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
out of all the different things that you've done, right? People say I'm for this position, for that position. Yes, so what? A lot of people are right, not able to complete. What accomplishment, relevant accomplishment? People, I asked them, what are your most proud accomplishments? People say my kids. That's a sweet thing. I'm not mad at that, right? But what accomplishment that's relevant to leading, right? Are you most proud of achieving?
I guess several. First and foremost, like we were saying, you really have to embody the struggle. At the age of 17, I was convicted of a misdemeanor. I'm 39 years old now, still dealing with collateral consequences. Even though like I said, I obtained a bachelor's degree and master's degree, a host of certifications. I currently work with our state, some of our state representatives and organizations regarding reentry efforts here in North Carolina. I currently work with our detention center programs to bring reentry efforts inside the local jails. I have currently written a book, which is available on Amazon regarding reentry efforts as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm actually working on some of those things myself. Actually, at the end of March, we have some brothers that were falsely convicted, and we're working to get them some justice at the Queen's Supreme Court. So that's awesome. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Please keep me informed. Please keep me informed.
Absolutely. So, okay, so now I'm going to ask you, I have some political partners that I work with. I'm going to ask about their issues first because I like to, prioritize them. So the thing is, first of all, I'm going to ask you, you know Julian Assange? Would you support the freedom of Julian Assange?
I guess could you give me a little bit more information on that?
Sure, okay. Have you ever heard of WikiLeaks?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
he's that WikiLeaks guy. So he released some information, and then now he's actually in prison in Europe. And I'll give you a little bit more information on that. Here's what's interesting, right? Check this out. You may have heard him in Ecuador and stuff like that, but now he's in a place called Belmarsh, I believe. He might have gotten extradited to the U.S. already. I'm not sure. I've been a little bit busy with other things for the moment, but he was in England, right? Our ally, right? Yeah, in their prison.
Mhm.
And the first time they tried to extradite him, you want to know why England, our ally, would not extradite him to the U.S.? What was their reasoning?
Oh yeah, what?
Because U.S. jails are too inhumane.
Wow.
Wow, wow,
But
really?
black and brown people make up. Don't get me started.
Wow.
Wow.
Yo, that's our
Wow.
ally England saying that, right? Yeah. I think they did actually win an appeal later on to get him extradited, right? So they actually overturned that extradition. So the thing is, right? Earlier I was talking today with another candidate, right? And he was like, like he was more supportive of Snowden. I get Snowden's a little bit cleaner, right? Because he only released information that was really to try to about wiretaps on a U.S. citizen, which is illegal in the first place. But
Mhm.
you look at Assange, he's in solitary confinement. It's crazy. For what? For publishing documents that New York Times did the same thing. A lot of, right? So, you get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh yeah.
would you support the freedom of Assange?
Oh, of course. Of course.
Appreciate that.
We as Americans, that I think information is our right. That's our First Amendment right at that. So,
Appreciate that.
of course. And also, something about the jails that I'm proud of, what you asked. I stay in Beaufort County, which is a rural area in North Carolina. One of our jails, I actually succeeded in getting shut down for some time. The reason why is the National Institute of Corrections did a study and showed just how bad that jail was. There was Brillo pads in the food. The temperature of the food was different, wasn't correct, of course.
Yeah.
There was hair in the food. There's no kitchen in the jail, so the food is brought 30 to 45 minutes away. During Hurricane Florence in 2018, the residents inside the jail were evacuated and had to wade through their own urine and feces.
Yeah.
So very, very proud of being able to, get our people some justice.
Appreciate that. Yeah, for real. Appreciate that. So, okay, the second question would be UBI, Universal Basic Income. Would you be supportive of that?
Oh, of course, of course. Being someone, like I said, who embodies the struggle, we at least need a livable income.
Yeah.
And actually, right now, I don't want to put this out there, but President Biden, our gas prices are crazy now. We need some type of stimulus that's going to help us with these gas prices.
I
We
get
as
you.
Americans need help.
I get you. Yeah, appreciate that. The next question is, okay, there's people with disabilities. That's another community I work with, right? And the thing is that people with disabilities, well, also people in prisons as well, are allowed to be paid sub minimum wage. Will you support, right, people with disabilities, right, being able to, if they have less production or something, they could do sort of subsidies or something like that. But would you, if we think of minimum wage as subsistence wage, would you support minimum wage for people with disabilities?
Absolutely. Like I said, I work in reentry, and really and truly what we found out is how they intersect. Mental health, substance use disorder, it's just co-occurring when it comes to individuals who end up in the prison system.
Yeah.
I do have prior experience in mental health and substance use disorders as well. Spent many, many years providing mental health and substance use disorder.
It's psychologically dehumanizing, right? I know it sounds
Yeah.
extreme, but it's psychologically dehumanizing to find that there's a minimum wage, and you can't get that. You feel like you less than a human, really, right? Come on.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate that. So, all right. So we're gonna take a look at another community that I work with, the trans community, right? Now the thing is that people who are trans, they may face discrimination, and I get it, right? They have a different lifestyle, right? They find it hard to hold down a job. So let's suppose that they're trying to access public housing. So the thing is, right, let's suppose, now I'm just making these numbers up, right? Let's suppose 10% of people applying for housing are trans. But we look at the public housing system and we say, oh no, only 2% of the people in the housing system are trans. So we see there's discrepancy there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we ask these people what's going on. They're saying, oh, I'm getting beat up, stuff like that, right? The people are being mean to me, right? They're pissing on my door. They're beating me up in the stairway, wearing masks. I don't know who they is. And I want to leave. So what can you do to assure this community, right, fair access to public resources? That's equivalent to, there's no law saying you can discriminate against trans people, right? In fact, there's probably laws saying you can't, right? But still, right, what you see a discrepancy, how can you address that?
I would say, like I said, with prayerfully I get this seat, but my biggest thing is to uphold the Constitution. Our Ninth Amendment gives us rights that may not have been accessible back in the day. But regardless, we as the people, we have rights that the government should not have anything to do with. We all deserve, regardless, we all deserve fair and equitable housing.
Yeah.
Period.
Have you ever heard of something called the right to repair?
right to repair.
Oh,
I have
no,
not.
I'm sorry, sorry. Wait. The last question wait, you didn't quite answer that, right? Yeah, you do
Okay,
say
I'm
we
sorry.
all deserve fair housing, right? Yeah, but my
Yeah,
question was a little different because, right, the thing is not, right, there, even the law says, right, you're supposed to have fair housing, right? But we see that these people are not receiving that.
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, actually, there's a lot of, like, you know, applications to black people as well, right? They say you can't discriminate in housing, but then we see that the fact is that if the same house is owned by a black person and a white person, that they value it at a different number. It's
Yeah.
illegal, right? But it still happens. What
Right,
can we do
right.
to solve these issues, right? What do you think about that? That's the real question, right? Not, you know, everybody knows it's wrong, right? Even the law says so. But still, the bull crap is going on. What can we do about that? Can you
I
do
would
about
say
that?
I would say hold them accountable.
Okay.
You know, I personally here in North Carolina, housing is horrible here. So, you know, I part of what I've been trying to do with NC Commerce was and I guess actually within the United States, there is the what is it? Federal bonding, which, you know, fits employment. It gives that $5,000 insurance, but we need to extend that to housing. So therefore, you know, black, brown, trans, anyone can assess that and, you know, be available to be put in these houses. You know, we need housing regardless who we are, you know, what we believe in, whatever. We deserve, everybody deserves housing. So
Appreciate
yeah, I
that.
mean, just holding people accountable.
Appreciate that. Now, in that question, right, there's a little bit of a question of like percentages, quotas,
Mhm.
right? How do you feel about quotas as a solution, right? Because if we take a look at the thing is that, right, like one of the people who's actually in the another candidate I've interviewed, right, it does Medicare auditing, and they keep metrics to see, right, oh well, you know, there's a certain amount of black people, right, and are they being denied care if there's some discrepancy? They can challenge that. So actually, I've been talking about, like, you know, they need to keep the metrics of what's going on, but then also quotas can also be argued, right? People would say, like, you know, I don't want quotas holding me back, right? They say, like, you know, if they say, like, you know, there's only supposed to be 20% black people in this area, come on, right? Yeah, or right. So people don't want it to be limiting either. So do you have any particular thoughts on that as a solution? How would you make the
I
solution? How would you design the solution, right? Yeah, are you looking at quotas? Are you looking at are you looking at percentages? How are you going to address this, right?
I would actually consider, you know, the quota, so to speak, discriminatory. So I mean,
Okay.
we really need
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
figure
That's a
out
possibility. Yeah.
get, to get rid of that. You know, like I said, once again, that goes back to we all deserve housing. You know, we deserve. We're in America. You know, the color of our skin. I know it although it shouldn't affect, but it does. I mean, you know, just being real, it does, and that's not fair. So.
Yeah. Have you heard about something called the right to repair?
I have not. I know you mentioned that before.
Okay.
Can you explain that?
Okay. So the thing is that nowadays we can see that a lot of the companies that make tech and stuff like that, like I think one of the most egregious violators is going to be the iPhone, right? What they do is they said that we're going to make the phone so you can't repair it. So let's suppose that your
Mm.
battery goes old, right? And then it costs you like as much to change the battery as it does to buy a new phone. Now what they do, they take it even to another extreme. Before, if you crack your screen, right, you take it to the iPhone store. They say you're gonna charge for a new phone, so you just buy a new one. So people say screw that. They go to an independent repair shop, they get another
Mm.
screen, they put it on. But now they made an ID in the screen where it won't work with the phone either way. So that's no longer an option. They force you to do it that way. You ever hear like McDonald's? Like you ever see like how the ice cream machine doesn't work? Because
It never worked.
the company that right, the company that has a contract with McDonald's exclusively, they have a right to repair the machines. McDonald's not allowed to repair the machine. They have to hire an authorized technician. They're going to charge them $10,000 to change. Yeah, that's why none of them work, right? Biden,
Wow.
yeah, and a lot of farmers with their tractors and stuff. You could look up videos on this particular topic, but John Deere is locking down the tractors, so they are forcing the farmers to go to them, and it's a new form of monopolization to take advantage of consumers. So,
Wow.
right, yeah. Before people were allowed to modify their own now that they're talking about like, you know, self-driving vehicles, stuff like that, right? People might not be allowed to modify their cars or anything, you
Wow.
know. Yeah, you void the warranty, you void the service charge, everything, right? Everything connected to the internet. Software, you don't own it anymore, right?
Wow.
So, would you support the right to repair? Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. We need to repair our own our.
Okay, so now I'm going to get to some of the more general questions, right? Thank you for answering questions for my partners. I'm sure they'll appreciate it, and it's a nice way to grow your base. So now let's talk about the growing wealth gap. Right? The rich are getting rich, the poor are getting poor. I see that our revolution thing in the background. If you look on the turntable right here, look at that right there. You notice that sign right there? What does that look like? You see that?
I see,
Yeah.
I see. Look, I see the turntables. You're in the birth of hip hop. Are you in the Bronx?
No, I'm actually in Queens, but I am in New York City.
Okay.
Jazzy J
Okay.
came to one of my events. Also, yeah,
Wow.
I'm around a lot of. I've been a lot of stuff, but I'm actually retired. I'm actually. I'll send you if you're into the music and stuff. I got New York locked down. Yeah, but I'm also libertarian. I'm also Democrat. I'm also a Republican, Green Party. I'm in all the parties. To tell you the truth, I go to all the meetings. I'm aware of all their techniques, right? Their tools, everything. So that's just how I get
Let me
stale.
show you something real quick.
All right.
So let me take this off. All right. So this is our setup.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, shit. That's dope. Oh, you got a third one. Okay, you got the three. Oh, shit. Okay, you scratch?
Not anymore. You know, I had to step away because of
That's
getting
quite a few
political.
turntables. That's
But
quite a few
yeah, my
turntables.
fiance is still involved. We actually have connections in New York, so we were part of the UZN, and
Oh, the Hip Hop
yeah, we were
Museum?
going to not UZN, Zulu Nation.
Oh, Zulu Nation. Okay, I know them. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, shit. We might know some people. Speedy Legs. He used to do those parties in the Skate Key. You know about
Okay.
Skate Key in the Bronx?
I know. Look, we would come down every November for the anniversary,
Oh yeah, the
and
Zulu Nation anniversary.
you
Yeah,
know,
I
with
was
the
there.
Zulu Warriors, and yeah.
Boot Camp Click was a common right. Black Moon. They was commonly KRS One showed up. Curtis Blow was around. He was always around them old school heads, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What up? Yo, I'm all about that life. Hell yeah. All right, cool.
Right. Yes,
All
I
right,
like that.
cool. Yeah. All right. Oh shit. Okay. I think you're gonna like some of the other stuff I make too. We're gonna see. Yeah, I got that real hip hop flavor. No question. Boom.
Love it.
Damn. All right. I like that. If you guys know, actually, DJ Dopey from Turntable Monks shouted me out. Precision from the X-Men Executioners shouted me on my
Oh.
mixtape. Showed you the whole Fifth Platoon. If you know those cats, so yeah. If you know DJ Cats, I'm in there. Yeah. Cool. Nice. Nice. Okay.
Nice.
DJ Neil Armstrong. He's actually a Bernie supporter. He was actually DJing for Jay-Z. You know, from the Fifth Platoon.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
pretty dope. Yeah, so he was his tour DJ.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I can give a shot, KRS-One.
KRS-One means knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone.
I am looking for you. Please reach back out to me. I would love to have your endorsement.
Chris
Okay.
Parker, what's up, man? Make it happen for a sister. You know what I mean? What's up, baby? You know what I mean? And Kenny
Right,
Parker too,
right.
man. Why not throw the whole family in there? You know what I mean? Much love, man, to the
Absolutely.
yeah. Much love out to KRS-One, no doubt. Cool. Yeah, the professor, yeah? The teacher, education, yeah? Anyways, yeah, let's get back to the focus at
Sorry.
hand. So the thing is, once again, I saw our revolution thing, right? There's a growing wealth gap in this country. You have any, what's your plans to fix that?
Of course, we need $15 an hour, $15 minimum wage. You know, we need to. I mean, really and truly, we the people need to really take our rightful place, so to speak, back in Congress. You know, there's no way to really combat it until we bring real people back into the spots that we need to be in. So,
You know, but I agree with you in a way, right? Yeah. But then the thing is that, right, there's a lot of people, there's a significant number of candidates who are just normal people. But I think, like, normal people are cool, but you're an activist, so you fought against the BS. So right, the thing is that a lot of these new cats, when they jump in, they're going to be surprised. They haven't been lied to by the politicians. They haven't seen the lobbyists at work. They think that something's going to work. They're going to get hustled into the side by the party right rep who's going to say, like, yo, we need you to play ball on this, blah, blah, blah. you know, and they'll be like, oh, really? Okay, you know. But someone like yourself who's been an activist for a long time, you're going to stand your ground more. So I do like the common person, right? But I think that people need to look to people with a history of working on the topic, not necessarily in an establishment way, but someone like yourself who's working on the ground. So you're, I guess you could say you're an everyday person, but in some ways, to me particularly, you exceed that, right? Maybe in some rankings, right, economic or title or whatever, right? But for me, on the way that I gauge it, like you an elite in that sense, right? Yeah, and people should respect that work, and that's really what we need: activists in the right, and people. Not only that, but when the system makes decisions, they also need to listen to the voices of the victims of the institutional system, not just the doctors and the freaking professors and the elites, right?
Absolutely, because they are they are that elite, you know.
Yeah.
You know, my opponent is one of those.
Yeah, you ask the warden how the prison's doing, he says everything's great, man.
Right,
Everything's
right,
running great.
right,
We're the
right,
best.
right.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
right.
But
Yeah.
you get in there and you see, you know,
Brillo
in
pads.
Beaufort County, like
Yeah.
mold and just
Yeah.
some of everything else.
Yeah, insane,
You know,
right?
people not getting medicine right, and you know the programming lacking, and reentry efforts no good. So yeah.
Yeah, so I think that putting normal people in will actually make a change as they start to make choices for themselves, right? Just so you know, one thing that we're also doing here in New York, you may have heard that over in Nevada, the Bernie-crats took over. There's something called county committee here in New York, and the thing is that they appoint judges. So the thing is that, right, you know, the judges are a lot of times the last form of recourse. That's why those brothers are going to the Supreme Court, and we're trying to also, right, is petitioning sitting for county committee. Also, the people running for county committee, if you can gang up with them, right, some of them will get in, some of them won't, but if they can join your team and they can support your campaign, that could be a powerful way, right, for you guys to work together. You know, you could go to the events as a senatorial candidate, right, or, you know what I mean, and boom, 1, 2, 3, put the combine like Voltron, and it's time to freaking win. Let's do this, yeah? What up?
Absolutely. I love the point of connection.
Yeah.
You know, I can't do this alone. I do need those connections. You know, one little person can't do it, but together, I mean, we can be an army.
And in Buffalo, just the way that they, you know, they made their move. In Nevada, just the way, like, you know, people made their move. You could be the one making the move in Florida. We're trying to do it in New York. Oh my God, there's so much money on the other side. But make your move in Florida, you know, and then we'll try to get these people in high-profile races to be with you in some events. I think that we could really capture something here. Let's go for it, yeah? Why not?
Absolutely. And as you see, I don't mind coming to DC and coming up north, because that background picture was DC.
Hell yeah.
I got arrested that day.
Yikes. Yeah. It's a tough one, yeah? It's a tough one. I got out of the arrest. I talked to the cops. I was like, come on, man, come on. I got out of it, but your respect. That's people think that going to jail is a day camp. It's not. Okay, we're not trying to go in, but I respect you making that move. Yeah. Okay, we know what that's like. Some people don't. Yeah. But you've been in the prison, so you know that day trip could become something else. So respect for your commitment there. Yeah. A lot of people don't know. I tell them, you know, these white people. I'd be like, yo, stop trying to do that shit. You know what I mean? But yeah, but you understand. And sometimes you got Martin Luther King. Sometimes you got to take that stand.
Oh yeah.
I've been on hunger strikes. I've had 4 cops force me to the ground. Right? Yeah. I was like, I'm staying here. Nah, this has to be addressed. Yeah. Sometimes it's that important. So okay. We take a look at right. This is probably your forte, right? What are your ideas on reforming the criminal justice system? Oh my goodness. Go ahead. It's just one of the standard questions, but I'm sure this is your forte, right? So go ahead.
So I guess first and foremost, I see you smoking the ganja. You know, that's automatic.
It's legal here. It's legal.
I heard it's not here.
I'm sorry.
But yeah, I know. I know. But, you know, once you go in and you do your time, you get convicted, you do your time served. When you come out, there should be other avenues in which that can help you. You should not come out and then have nothing else to do other than go back to what you know. Once an individual, completes his or her sentence, then they need to be given every opportunity in the community to, reform, to do better. You cannot expect someone to get out of incarceration. It's almost like a game of Monopoly. Like when you go to jail, you lose everything. And, coming home, you go back to what you know. So when it comes to reforming the justice system, we need, for one, there's so many disparities for Black and brown individuals. So, that needs to be dealt with. From there, it's different intercepts. We need to find diversionary programs so we can actually stop people from going into the jails. Like I said, I was 17 years old with the misdemeanor, in which they held until I was 18 years old. Right. So they held it an entire year. Okay. And, had they done it or completed it at the age of 17, it would have been a youth charge. But they held it until I was 18. So it ended up being an adult charge. Currently, as that activist, the organization, can you hear me?
Yeah, but that's bizarre. Like, if you committed it when you were 17, they're trying you as an adult. That doesn't make sense. That's just illogical. That's just...
Absolutely.
That's like you committed a crime yesterday and then it's what? You committed a crime when you were 17. That's just definitionally wrong.
Justice system is, but
that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. Who the hell signed off on that one? Who signed that one? Who signed off on that? What?
But at the end of the day, that's nothing compared to individuals who are forced to plea to charges that they don't even commit.
March 20th, March, we were on the first Monday this month. We're rolling out to the Queens Supreme Court. My dude has evidence of his innocence. They have a conviction on his record. They're refusing to overturn it because they'll be liable. And it's not just him. There's also Reverend Keith Gadsden. We're trying to do the... Yeah, it's ridiculous. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Khalif Browder, like that was an inspiration to me. Just... being in there, and it bothers you. Tell me, I didn't do it. Like 10 toes down, I didn't do it. But you still have to suffer. And just being Black or brown, our voice doesn't necessarily count in this system. But at the end of the day, it's doing what it's supposed to do. Therefore, we have to get in there. We need to tear it down.
Your oppression has been normalized, unfortunately. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Absolutely. It's just way the freak too normal. Yeah, that time is over right now. That's all I'm saying. Time's over right now.
So thankfully, the organizations that I'm affiliated with, Decarcerate North Carolina, Emancipate NC, For Justice, Second Chance Alliance, North Carolina Justice Center.
Hey, so just quick. I'm sorry to interrupt, but okay. So since I'm a fan of this work, honestly, right? Yeah, and since you've been around this work. If anybody else has like re-entry programs, right? What are some of the best things that you've seen, right? What are some of the things that people running their own re-entry programs, what would you tell them, right? About how they could do better, or maybe you want to share some different tips, right? Maybe there's a certain job sector that you found work for you, maybe moving, maybe, doing yard work, right? What have you been able to find work for your community?
I would say really and truly, there's several, I call them experts by experience. You can have your therapist, you can have your psychologist, but if you have that individual that's been there and done that, and you can bring them to someone who, kids, for instance, if you bring them to a child, or you bring them to someone who's going through, or who may be, heading down that road, and they can actually reach them and say, look, I've been there, this ain't what you want. That speaks volumes compared to a therapist, whereas, you shouldn't do this, blah, blah, blah. Give me somebody that can relate to me. So of course, include those peers, include those experts by experience. In addition, there's so many barriers when individuals get out. There's housing barriers, there's food barriers. Here in North Carolina, if you have a certain felony, if I'm not mistaken, it's a G or I felony. If you have those felonies, you're not eligible for food stamps. How am I supposed to eat? Yeah. Just getting out, how am I supposed to eat? Of course, we talked earlier about the housing disparities. There are several people here that are trying to discriminate due to housing. There's poor housing here. We are in a rural area. So, my biggest thing, and I've been trying to push it, is these boarded houses. Let's work to fix these boarded houses up so that individuals getting out can have a fresh start.
Yeah.
You cannot sit and expect someone to literally have nothing and do something different.
I really appreciate you so much, Barbara. I have to admit, the thing is that, let me tell you the God's truth. When I was setting up this interview with you, one of the things that you said to me was, if you ain't been there, you can't tell me anything. And anybody who watches my content knows that I live that life 100% in people's faces. Now, the fact is that when you meet these people that have never been on welfare, never been in the housing system, never been poor, a lot of times they say a lot of things that other people say, but they don't really know what they're talking about, and they lose so much credibility. You see them talking about this, they'll be like, oh yeah, you should do this. And you're like, man, motherfucker, you just shut up, you know what I mean? And then they try to say something, man, maybe the other thing they're saying is right, but they already lost all credibility. You're like, yo, shut up. So, for real, I think that's a very powerful, right? Once again, having people from the community, people that are there. Stop putting your celebrities and your pundits and your experts in front of us, right? Yeah, they're not experts in this right here. You get what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, appreciate you so much, yeah? So let's ask about education. We look at student debt, it's ridiculously high, $1.4 trillion. We got, poor outcomes considering the amount of spending that we do. What are some ideas that you have to fix these things?
Honestly, I am one of those ones with a bunch of student loan debt. Because of the pandemic, these loans have been in deferment, which proves that, they really aren't strapped for the money, so to speak. So we need to get rid of it. I mean, I think if we got rid of the student loan debt, that would actually give us the ability to move forward.
Yeah. Also, right, it doesn't have a lot of these schools, NYU is one of the largest property owners in New York City. Columbia Pace just bought the Kips Bay Projects apartments. It's just a money-making operation. It's no longer really educational.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're financial institutions. They're large property owners. It's they're buying stocks and stuff. It's like, what are they doing? Bizarro.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then I know here in our rural areas, something else with education also. Not sure how it is in New York, but they are really trying to push an anti-CRT, the critical race theory, in these rural areas. And, the critical race theory is not even taught in schools, but a lot of the Republicans or GOP have been pushing it down here for anti-CRT resolutions. And the way that it's been running or being read is that these resolutions are supposed to be equality, so to speak.
I have to admit, I'm not really knowing, what is critical race theory?
So it's for law students, and what it does is it shows how the disparities that Black and brown people face kind of affect the justice system or affect, pretty much, life. But I mean, it's not taught in schools.
Okay.
But they're using it as a ploy to get rid of history, so to speak.
They don't want people to be taught about that?
Absolutely, yeah.
That seems extreme. That seems really, really extreme.
Absolutely. It's erasing history, and history is supposed to make you feel uncomfortable.
Is there any
if
chance
you don't
that
know,
that's
for
pass?
one, if you don't know where if you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going.
There's no way that's passing.
And history gives us our role models.
You think
history
that has a chance of passing?
makes and shapes us.
There's no way that could pass. What do you think? You think that has any chance of passing?
I think it did pass in Florida. I think there are some states that it's passed in.
I did not know this. That is, wow. Okay, well, wow. I did not know. That is crazy. Wow. That's news. Wow. Okay. It's good that you knew about that. Thanks for letting us know.
Absolutely.
Okay. Let's take a look at another thing. We take a little large portion of our spending is on Social Security. um, national debt, right? Other types of economic things. What are your thoughts on those particular ideas?
Um, Really and truly, I think that Social Security is actually what we put in it. At the end of the day, if you work a job, for instance, like Social Security takes out a chunk of that. So why would you not be able to get that, so to speak? That's your money. Why would you not be able to utilize it?
That makes sense to me. Okay. What about medical reform? The thing is that, well, there's a couple things. The COVID thing, and there's also just like the high price of medications and stuff. What are your thoughts on these particular issues?
Um, Medical. I know here in rural Eastern North Carolina, that of course is a huge issue. With our veterans, a lot of the this area is veterans. They're not getting the care that they should. There's poor veterans hospitals um, in the areas that there's even a hospital. The rural hospitals are shutting down. The cost of medicine is crazy. I mean, no one should have to decide whether to eat or whether to live or take medication
Yeah, I agree with that.
and live here in the United States in America. I mean that's crazy.
Yeah. Okay. What about okay, so right now we can see we're in a time of internet censorship and big tech control of things that we're allowed to talk about and things allowed to see. The very information we receive. In fact, there's like algorithms that's like trying to control, right? Well, you seem like you're upset about something, so let me flip you some videos to calm you down. So you, or you seem like you're thinking too much about this activist stuff. Yo, you know what's okay? You know that movie? Remember Herbie Lovebug?
I think so.
There's like a little
I think
car,
so.
right? It's an old Disney movie, right? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So in that
Yes.
story, the original setup is that there's a little old lady who lives inside of a building, and a big developer wants to buy it. So they're going to have to pay a lot of money, but she doesn't want to leave, so the car kind of saves her and allows her to keep that apartment, right? That's what the story's about. In the new version, they erased that storyline. These, right? If you think about it, there's no more anti-commercial messaging in movies anymore. That's how, right? They're completely reprogramming us. It's insane, right? In fact, you see ads in the movies all the time. FedEx. Like, how many times have you seen FedEx in the movies? Like it's like you're watching a TV show. You're not even watching a movie, you're watching commercials left and right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, anyways, so if we're talking about like internet censorship, what are you, and like the control of these things, what's your plans to maybe address these situations?
For one, I have 3 kids, and my 2 little ones, I honestly call them internet babies. I mean, I think that for one, the internet has too much control of our lives. If we as people, and I speak for myself, but I think everyone can agree with me. When you get up in the morning, you grab your phone, you check your emails, you check your Facebook, blah blah blah. Everyone knows, and I mean that's just too much control. I'm an '80s baby, and we didn't even have internet like that. Internet was not an actual. It's so ingrained in our lives that it just makes no sense. Like we as humans are technically becoming robots, so to speak. Um, you know, and it's almost forced. So I am fully against, of course, like I said, the algorithms, for instance. I have been researching those. I think it was Social Dilemma is something that I paid attention to. And like I said, my kids, for instance, they are Roblox robots. I mean, I've never seen a time in which the internet controlled so much. Like we have to do something. There has to be something done regarding this.
Yeah.
We're losing the sight of being human.
Yeah, we need to we're letting the big tech companies have too much control. Definitely.
Yes.
So appreciate you joining up with us and trying to help us restore order to this whole situation. Now the thing is, Well, you're actually okay. So this is actually gonna be a tough one right here. Okay, this is oh, you know what? I'll save that for the end. Okay, so got one sneak question coming up right here, but
Okay.
okay, so you're real, honestly one of my favorite candidates. Straight up, got to tell you that's the truth. How can people find about your campaign? You got a website, you got a Twitter. What's the deal?
Yes, it's www.barbara, the number 4congress.com. Twitter is at Barbara 4, the number 4 NC.
Okay. Anything else that you put on? You got it.
There is an Instagram. I really don't remember it. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. But you
But
can put the
those
links
two,
below.
those
Yeah.
other two are my main ones. So
Okay. Just visit the video. I'll send you the link, and you can just put a comment. Yeah, with the
okay,
links if
we'll
you want.
do.
Yeah.
We'll
Or
do.
actually, there's links to it from your website, right?
Yeah, I
Okay,
can
cool.
get you a link.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just go to her website, and she'll have the links to her social media. So
Absolutely.
okay. So here's a sneak question right here before the final one, right? Yeah. Then we have one more question. Then that's the end right
Okay.
there. Thank you very much for awesome answers today. So the thing is, look, one of the things that we need to do out here is we need to fight the corruption. So a
Mm.
lot of people out here, I might ask them like how they're gonna fight corruption. They'll say like something that everybody else knows, like Nancy Pelosi, blah blah blah, right? Yeah. But if you're not
Mm.
gonna fighting corruption now, then what makes me think you're gonna fight corruption later? Are you ready to pull
Absolutely.
the trigger now on someone right now, right? Yeah. And point out some corruption that we don't all know about right now. What? Are you a fighter? Show me right now what you got.
Absolutely. Corruption. Where do I start? I mean, the justice system, for instance. There's just so much money in the justice system. I told you I'm a hip hop head, so we know how the how hip hop was corrupted. Um, there's just so much. Like that is such a broad question.
Can you name a
I
name?
would
Are you
say,
willing to name a name?
as my opponent, for instance, is pushing the concept of fentanyl
Okay.
at the borders. At the end of the day, I think people are failing to realize that fentanyl, crack, heroin are actually products after the fact that doctors give us medications. We can go and get opiates. I for one, I was in a car accident in 2016, a fairly bad car accident. After I left the emergency room, I was on Tylenol 3. From there, I was moved to hydrocodone, fives, then tens, then 15s. From there, I was put on Butrans, 5, 10s, and 20s. From there, I was put on MS Cotton, 5, 10s. From there, it ran my blood pressure up to the point I gave it back. So then they put me on Oxycontins, 5 and 10s. If I had that addictive personality, that would have been so easy for me to either continue to get the medications. I could have possibly went to crack or possibly went to heroin. But people want to sit and talk about the fentanyl, but they fail to realize that these doctors are prescribing, possibly because of the pharmaceutical agencies.
If you think
They
about it,
are
right?
getting
Yeah. If you
kickbacks.
think about it,
We know.
how many people do you know dead off of crack and heroin? And I know some people for real.
Hmm.
And how many people do you know dead off of the Percocets and all those Xanax and all those prescription
Absolutely.
drugs?
Quite a bit. Way
Actually,
more.
right?
Way
It's more if you think about it, right? Since that era,
Absolutely.
and if you, yeah,
Absolutely. And also, when you think about it, it's a very different picture from what it was when it was the crack epidemic.
yeah,
During the crack epidemic, we were, I think, we were called super predators. We were called names. We were thrown in jail. We lost mom, dad, sister, brother.
yeah. Now they're
They're
marketing it to
actually
you.
currently sitting in prison because of that.
Yeah,
But now, because we have an opiate epidemic,
yeah,
and now it's a heroin epidemic, then now everyone wants to push, a different outlook on it.
yeah.
So
Appreciate
that's why I
that.
say it's so much corruption.
All right. So the final question is, well, you told us about the website, right? Barbara for Congress, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And well, what do we have to look forward to? You got any events coming up? You got what's up?
Still working on it.
Ballot
We are
petitions?
planning some fundraisers. As far as the activism side, like I said, I have a book out, reentry workbook that is available on Amazon. As I said, I also work very closely with the state. I will be presenting for our state reentry conference next month, April 26th and 27th. And really just continuing the fight in solidarity with all of my other community activists and
What about ballot
organizers.
petitions? You got that ready to go, or have you finished that process? Ballot petitions?
Ballot petitions?
Yeah. Are they due yet, or have you finished those?
Yes, we
Oh, you
actually,
finished
those
that.
are like
Okay.
the filing. Yeah, y'all may have a different
Yeah, I think it's
title
like,
for it. We call it filing. So yes, the last day to file was last Friday.
yeah, the
And so
Dems here have to
yeah,
get
something that
15,000.
no
I don't know about you. How many did you have to get? We gotta get a lot. Dems at 15,000, and then other guys is get like third parties have to get 45,000. So that's a
wow.
lot of SIGs. Yeah.
Because I am one of the Democrats, one of two of the Dems. Yeah, I was able to file. It was just I had to pay the filing fee. But yeah, just something that not too many people know. You know, watch the race, please. I am the first ever Black woman to run in this district,
Okay.
and prayerfully, if I win, we will make history in Eastern North Carolina.
Hell yeah, I'm down. Yeah. Definitely one of my favorite candidates, so I definitely hope that happens. Yeah. Look forward to doing more work with you. God bless.
God bless you.
All
Thank you.
It's a dark day in our nation when high-level authorities will seek to use every method to silence dissent. The truth must be told.
And if you want the truth, you need to check out independent media producers just like myself, DJ L7. You should subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notifications when I release a new video.
Truth of these
We are
words
on all
is
the major
beyond doubt.
platforms. That includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course YouTube. Unfortunately, we have definitely seen that these mainstream outlets will cave to corporate interests, so we encourage you to join our independently moderated communities of Reddit and Discord. We also encourage you to subscribe to us on BitChute and Dailymotion so you can see the content that YouTube doesn't want us to let you see. Hey, now it's time for the most important part of the video. That's right. It's time for us to tell you about the Taking Action Group. Do you need an activist? Or maybe there's no activists around willing to help you with your cause and you need to learn to become an activist. That's exactly why we're here. Every week we get up with people from across the nation, in fact even sometimes internationally, and we develop strategies and a game plan to address the issues that are affecting all of us. Every week myself from New York City and of course my co-host Lisa from Los Angeles provide a coast-to-coast perspective on what's going on in the country. If you want to donate to help out with expenses, travel, equipment, stuff like that, then I definitely appreciate it, and you can hit us off at Venmo or PayPal. Thanks a lot. Hey, by the way, we also have a merch store, so check it out. Oh my goodness, it seems like you've reached the end of the video, so make sure you check out some of our other videos, make sure you subscribe. This is your last chance to do so thanks a lot, and looking forward to seeing you on the next one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please comment below if you have any questions or issues you'd like me to address. And if you're an activist, the time to make things happen is now.